Got another series of videos coming, one a week for the next few weeks, about some new vintage cameras that have entered the collection. Christmas was a good time. Today we are starting with the Polaroid 600 Business Edition. This is the Polaroid 600 Business Edition. It says so right on the front. Check this out. Now that looks like a Polaroid to me. We've talked about before in the past with some of these videos that we've done about Polaroids, and this is what I remember. Not this one specifically. I don't know what one we had growing up, but it was like this. It had the fold-up flash, big Polaroid, took a picture, it would print out. A little bit later, you'd have your exposure. Awesome. It's pretty cool. Here's what I found out about it. Its functions are identical to those of the Polaroid one-step flash close-up. Later on, there was a second business edition. I can confidently say that the business edition 2 came out in 2000. So this one must have been 1999 or before. All the best sources I could find just say 90s. As the name suggests, it uses Polaroid 600 film. There were two sizes of this, 3.1 inch by 3.1 inch square, or with a border that was 4.2 inches by 3.5 inches. And getting it out, what we have in here, I don't know. There's the cartridge. There's definitely some film in there. There's definitely still some, but as far as using it, not so much. This is, as I said, probably 20 years old. Can I put these back? I just pulled out 3 of them. I don't know if they go back. I've never tried this part before. I don't know if these are still even going to be good. That color doesn't seem good to me, and the way that it is. I'm sure you're also not supposed to be exposing these to light, but here it is, 20 plus years later. I'm sure I might be able to find some film. I know that Polaroid's made a bit of a comeback. I don't know if the sizes are still the same, but I'm assuming if they still had, I guess we'll deal with this later. I'm guessing if they still had sizes like this must be the bordered one. No, I don't know if I would be able to find more film is what I'm getting at there. These are stuck together and bleeding, very old. I might be able to. Apparently there's a battery in here that you could replace. That's where the whole thing functions, off the battery in the cartridges, which is why you got to use Polaroid specific ones, unless there are third-party ones. I haven't looked into that either, but cool that it says what it fits, 600 or 600 plus or 779 even. Different kinds of Polaroid film. The lens that we have in here is pretty zoomed in, 110 millimeter with an f10 iris. And it's got 2 focus options, between 2 to 4 feet or from 4 feet to infinity. The exposure is automatic. It does have slightly, there's a manual plus or minus of 1 stop, which is what we can see here. We're just sliding something over that. Shutter speed is also automatic. I found that they can go from speeds of 1/200th of a second down to 1/3 of a second, between how fast you want it to go. They made hundreds of these models with lots of variations. There actually is no definitive answer as to just how many models of Polaroid cameras they made. There's just no way to know specifically, apparently. I looked through a whole archive. Now, not about this specifically, but that previously mentioned Business 2 edition had some pretty cool upgrades, like a digital display. The Business Edition 2 features a digital display that allowed users to see the photo they've taken and the number of shots left on the film cartridge. That's pretty neat for 90s to 2000. Another feature of the Business 2 was a self-timer. That model had a timer, making it easier to take photos of yourself or groups without needing someone to press the button itself. And then something else I found was what they called an improved design. The Business Edition 2 had a more modern design with rounded corners and a more ergonomic grip. Again, I could find almost nothing about this one. It's got some instructions on the back, some quick tips. You press the red button halfway to charge the flash, push it all the way to take a photo. The subject should be at least 4 feet away, 2 feet up in close-up mode. Is that actually a function you can do on here? I suppose so, because you can set your focusing distance. And it gives you indoors, keep subject within 10 feet. So you're 110 millimeter, but you need them to be within 10 feet. That seems awfully close, but I guess if that's, you know, you're going for a portrait or something. Outdoors for shiny subject, e.g. car, or through glass, use flash override button. And you can see the instruction booklet. Protect developing picture from cold. Place in a warm pocket if it's below 55 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty much it. As far as I closed it and then tried to... One thing I find interesting about Polaroids, and now that we've got quite a few of them in the collection, all of their straps are permanently attached. I would have to cut the strap off. There is no way to unwind it or to just take that off and slip it off through the clip, you know, the belt buckle. Nope, they are permanently attached, which I don't care for. When I put them up on the shelf, the strap just gets in the way, so I try to remove them. Can't do that with Polaroids. What I would have liked to have found was a manual for this one specifically, but I was unable to, because what I'm curious about, when you look through the viewfinder, which I can't really show you, unfortunately, what it looks like, there's two little notches there. The top one shows what your image is going to be, in theory, although I don't think this is an SLR, so you don't actually see through. You see through over here. It's going to be slightly off to the side. But what you do see is this slider here through the, like, I guess because it's lighter or darker, but it doesn't show me that it's going to be lighter or darker. I look through there, I see the image out of here, and then below that, I do see the two arrows. It's got two arrows side by side, and they show if they're there, and they show if they're there. But if I put it in the middle, they go away. I would think that you would want it to be showing lighter or darker, depending on which way you are manually adjusting for that exposure to be. So I would expect to only see one of those arrows. Maybe this is broken. Maybe that is how it's supposed to be. I don't really know, but it's cool. I really like this because I like the look of it, the way that it is. I think this is cool. It reminds me of that Polaroid that we have. One day I'll try to figure it out. I don't think we had one that flipped up, but we definitely had one with a square boxy design, and it spit out the photos in the front. Hopefully one day I'll be able to identify and maybe be able to add to the collection, but that's kind of it. That's all I had on the Business 600 edition of Polaroid. We've got a lot of Polaroids to look at and talk about, and we'll be doing that over the next few weeks. But that's it. That's kind of all I was able to come up with on this one in particular. Maybe I'll be able to find out more information in the future at another point in time, but for now, I don't have any fresh film to try to take a photo with or anything. I thought it was cool. It's joining the collection, the Business 600 Business Edition. Excuse me, the 600 comes first. And I guess 600 Business Edition 2 is how the other one was. I may have said that backwards or forwards all the way around. Either way, I think this is cool. I like it. Fun time researching old cameras. It's joining the collection on the shelf.